Hey everyone, this is Minigame Dev, and I've got an update on my SignalVisualizer plugin for Godot 4. Let's get started. Alright, so this is the GitHub page for SignalVisualizer. I've got a new release, version 1.3.0, that contains the new debugging tool. It's available here on GitHub, which I've linked to in the description. It's also available on Godot's asset library. And it goes through installation instructions too. I've also had a previous video on this, and I've linked to that in the top right corner. If you haven't seen it, I go check that out. It goes through how to install it and everything. So with that, let's jump into Godot here. Alright, so I've got a demo scene all set up. Demo 1 here. I've got a script attached to it, and I've got all these signals wired up. So if I click on the Area 2D node that I have in the scene, you can see here in the right panel, I've got all my signals. And if I go use the SignalVisualizer, I can quickly generate the graph and see that all these are wired up. So body entered, exited, and then area entered and exited. I won't be using all these signals in this demo, only body entered and exited, as I have a character body 2D in the scene as well. But they're all wired up just to check kind of the visualizer and the debugger. Alright, so if you have the SignalVisualizer installed, which is talked about in the previous video, if you come here under Debugger, you'll see that there is now a signal debugger. And it's got two buttons here, Start and Clear. Start will only activate once there's a running scene. Clear is always active, but it won't do anything if there's nothing here. And I've got two panes here. First one is the signal tree, similar to SignalVisualizer. Come over here. It just will display a tree of all the signals in the running scene here. And then on the right is the console output. So if I run this scene, and I've got visible collision shapes turned on in the debug menu, that's just so I can see it because I was too lazy to put sprites in. The red one here is the character body 2D, and you can see I can control it with my arrow keys. And the blue is the area 2D node. So once this character body 2D enters the area 2D node, this area 2D node is going to start moving. That's just what I've got set up. It was an easy one to make it happen. And that way we can check the signals here. Now everything in the scene is running correctly, but if you're having trouble figuring out what signals are firing in your scene, what maybe aren't, and when they're firing in relation to each other, that's what the signal debugging tool will come in and hopefully help out with. So come down here, go over to Signal Debugger. You can see the start button's now active. So I click start. We get all the signals in the currently running scene. And there's more than what we have set up here. Some of these are just automatically set up by Godot. So if I hide these, we'll only really care about the Area 2D node, body entered, body exited. And you can see here, Signal Debugging has started. So if I go back, can move my character around. Nothing's going on until, there we go. You can see all these signals entered and exited, one right after the other, and have a nice little timestamp of when that happened. There you go. So that's essentially it for the signal debugger. It's a very simplistic scene here, but hopefully you can see if you had a lot more signals going on with other interactions, you would be able to tell what's firing and what's not firing without having to come in here and add log statements, which was the whole point. So if I stop this, see that signal debugging has stopped. And just note that clear, it's going to clear the tree and this. So if you wanted to keep the tree around, you'd have to just click start again. But it's always regeneratable once you're running the scene. All right. So that's the new signal debugging tool as a part of the SignalVisualizer plugin. Hopefully this plugin is going to save you time and headaches when using signals in your game. The GitHub link is in the description. If you run into any problems, log an issue there. Also, if you have any ideas or feature requests, please add them on GitHub as well. If you thought this video was useful or want to see more videos on Godot plugins, please add a like and consider subscribing. See you in the next one.